So this idea came to me as I was watching, ironically, the Carabao Cup final, Liverpool versus Chelsea. I'm not entirely sure how, but it kind of just came to my mind, and I was like, you know what, there are some really good partnerships, pairings across the world in terms of centre-back duos. So I was like, why don't we rank them, the 10 best, in order and decide who is the best centre-back partnership in the world right now. I was going to do this of all time, but I was like, oh, that's quite tough. But I can do that. If you guys do enjoy this, then let me know if you want to see that all-time best centre-back pairing list, or maybe you want to see these in other positions like best midfield pairing, etc. So, we're doing centre-back, and the way I'm judging this is, firstly, I'm not going to include teams or pairings that are involved mainly in back three systems. So, for example, you're not going to see the Leverkusen, the Juve, the Inter pairing here because they play in a back three, so it's not a pairing, right? So unfortunately I can't include those. I'm only including players who predominantly play in a back two system and play together alongside each other. It's also been a bit tricky to decide because a lot of clubs have multiple pairings rotate, so I've kind of just gone for the one which is either like the most played or the pairing which I think is the best pairing that that club has. Okay? And I'm basing it not just on this season but in general, and the sort of metrics I'm basing this off of, the things I'm looking at is the chemistry that those two have, how good they actually function together, the sort of team system and how these two help the system. Are they like an integral piece of that system? And their sort of general play in the team. We'll also then look at their individual performances, ability, and then also their ability and performances as a unit. So when they play, how do they actually function? Because a lot of the time on paper it looks good and they're individually fantastic centre-backs, but when they play together they don't play well. And then we'll also look at how important these two pairings are to their respective clubs. So that's what I'm basing it off of. Of course, I know everyone's going to have different pairings and rankings, so let me know in the comments below any pairings I've missed, which ones you disagree with, agree with, all of that stuff. I've waffled on enough now. So let's begin with number 10, Kim Min-jae and Deot Upamecano. Bayern is a very hard one to pin down, as they also have De Ligt and Dyer, who they regularly rotate. So they're one of those sides I was talking about where it's actually really hard to pick who their centre-back pairing is. But their most used one this year is Kim Min-jae and Deot Upamecano, so I'll go for them. And while on paper this seems pretty good, it's not been great in practice. Kim, to be fair, can hold his head up high as he's been great this season since joining from Napoli in the summer. However, Upamecano next to him is very on and off. Sometimes he can be good, but he also has a lot of errors in him, especially in big moments, as we saw last year in the Champions League where he was at fault for 2 goals versus Man City. This season has continued, getting a red card versus Lazio in their first leg of the Champions League. Personally, I actually think De Ligt and Kim would be the better partnership, although that is a bit slow to understand why Upamecano plays. If they can get some chemistry together and Upamecano can cut out his silly errors, this pairing definitely has potential to move up, but as of right now, it's number 10 because it's not really performed this season, this pairing, as of yet. But ability-wise, they're definitely good individually, it's just together they've had some bit shaky moments. Number 9, Pau Torres and Ezri Konsa. At the start of the season, if you had told me these two would be the ninth best centre-back pairing in the world, I would have been shocked, and I would be putting them above Bayern Munich's centre-back pairing. I would be like, what? However, full credit to Gonza and Torres, who have formed a great partnership this season. Now, this was meant to be Torres and Mings, but he got injured at the start of the season, so Gonza has stepped up, and after a shaky first game versus Newcastle, the pair haven't looked back since. They are a massive reason why Villa are flying, and when Villa were in the title race, it was because of these two in particular being immense at the back. Villa play a very, very high line, but these two make it possible due to their control on the ball and their pace to recover back, so they are integral to the way Villa play. It's no coincidence that when Villa dropped in form, this pairing was split up. They definitely can move up this list if they can keep this up, and also next season when they're in Europe, or, well, higher European competitions than the Conference League. Let's see how they perform, but this year I thought I needed to give them a mention because they have been fantastic, and they definitely have a lot more chemistry than Kim Min-jae and Upamecano. Not saying that these two are better individual centre-backs than them, it's just as a pair they perform much, much better than Kim Min-jae and Upamecano. Number 8, Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane. After several rough seasons defensively, United took a significant step forward last season under Erik ten Hag, and Varane and Martinez pairing at the back played a huge role in that. The duo quickly found their feet together and struck up a solid partnership. Despite struggling up top, United finished third in the league, securing a return to the Champions League, and a lot of that was due to their sensational defensive performances. They are the perfect blend of Martinez being a bit of a rash, aggressive defender, and then Varane with the experience and calmness. The only problem with this pairing is we barely get to see it, especially this season, as both of them have struggled with injuries, but when they are fit and at their best, Martinez and Varane are a class centre-back pairing. Shout out to Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans though, that's a goated partnership. Number 7, Cristiano Romero and Mickey van de Ven. A new pairing this season, which, just like Gonza and Torres, if you had told me they would be 7th in best centre-back pairings in the world at the start of the season, I would have laughed, but they have been fantastic this season. Similar to Martinez and Varane, they are the perfect mix of an aggressive, rash defender in Romero and a calm, composed centre-back in Mickey van de Ven. And similar to Gonza and Torres, Spurs play such a high defensive line, which makes their lives so much harder. However, these two allow them to play this way, as Van de Ven is one of the fastest defenders in the world, and he recovers so well, while Romero will aggressively intercept that ball to stop any counters. The drop-off in the Spurs team when they don't have this pairing together is absolutely insane and shows the level of importance this pairing has. It's only been one season though, so I can't bump them up higher, and also Romero can have the odd head loss, but what a pairing this looks to be, and maybe in the future it can definitely go higher and higher up this list. And it's also above Martinez and Varane because, as I said, we don't really get to see Martinez and Varane too often. Number 6, Marquinhos and Milan Skriniar. Another new pairing for this season. PSG have a very good centre-back pairing on their hands with these two. Now PSG have had their bad moments this year, but when they've been good, Skriniar and Marquinhos have been good. Marquinhos is one of the best centre-backs in the world, and been one of the best in the last 7 years really. He's always in and around that world-class conversation. Super, super consistent. And now he's got another reliable and solid centre-back in Milan us in those big, crucial moments. In the Champions League, as Marquinhos has been known to have an error in him in those big games. Also, they haven't played too much this season, as they've had injuries as well. And PSG sometimes go to a back three, but I do believe on paper they are absolutely fantastic, and let's see how they do in the rest of the season. Number 5, Ronald Araujo and Andreas Christensen. Our first pairing to actually win major trophies on this list. Around Christian, while they are maybe not doing fantastic right now, previously they have been incredible. Barcelona won La Liga last season with the best defensive record across the top 5 European leagues. They conceded just 20 goals as they won their first La Liga in the post-Messi era. They got an insane 25 clean sheets, which is one behind the all-time La Liga record and equal to Chelsea's 04-05 record, which many consider as one of the best defensive teams of all time. Now, a lot of this was down to Stegen behind them, but still, a large portion of this was down to the partnership of Araujo and Christensen. Araujo, on his day for me, is one of the best defenders in the world. Just gotta ask Vinny Jr. how hard it is to play against Araujo. Christensen is also very solid, but the reason these two are not higher is because they can be inconsistent, as we have seen this season. Barca defensively have been abysmal, and they've had some shaky moments individually. They're also unproven at the highest level, as last season they were incredible in La Liga, but in the Europa League they weren't amazing, and then this year in the Champions League, I mean, we'll see how they are, but still, I think this is one of those pairings on their day at their best. Incredible, incredible. And I really hope, they're a similar age, they can definitely develop. I really hope they develop a good partnership in the long term. Alright, now we're really stepping up here. Number 4, Gabriel and William Saliba. One of the toughest pairings to play, Saliba and Gabriel as a striker must be a nightmare to face. They are one of the most physical pairings in the world, with both monsters in terms of strength, height and pace. They are also, on top of that, very, very good at defending. Saliba individually is on track to become the best defender in the world in a few years, and right now is already one of the best defenders in the world. Saliba is a lot more calmer than Gabriel, while Gabriel will be the more aggressive one who chases down opponents, and their chemistry together is arguably the best chemistry on this list. They're also fantastic going forward, both of them grabbing goals from free kicks and corners on a regular basis. Now, the main reason they're not higher is because they do have the odd clanger in them. Gabriel in particular can be a bit reckless or make a bad mistake, and Saliba as well, here and there, can have a poor game, although overall they are great. There's also the element of, at the highest level, want to see how good they are and get fully tested. Obviously they come up against great opponents in the Prem, but in the Champions League latter stages, let's see how they perform then, title run-ins, stuff like that. The ones above them have proven themselves in those sort of stages, but yeah, Gabriel and Saliba, I mean, based on form, are arguably number 1, but taking everything into account, I put them in at number 4. Number 3, Rudiger and Alaba. Now, this is a bit of a sketchy one, as Real Madrid have multiple great partnerships, and it's difficult to nail down exactly their best one. So just for simplicity, I'm gonna go for the one they've used this season, albeit they've been forced to due to Militao being injured. But Rudiger and Alaba, as similar to others on this list, are the perfect blend of the aggressive, tough tackler in Rudiger and the calm and composed defender in David Alaba. But compared to the other combos, that we have mentioned, these two are perhaps the best at that. Alaba is such a smart centre-back and fantastic on the ball, while Rudiger is a monster and his pace and tackling is incredible. They have fantastic chemistry together and have been really, really good. The reason they're not higher is because, as I mentioned, they haven't always played together because it's been rotated really with Militao. And also when Militao is back, I mean, I'm not even sure this will be the starting partnership, but besides that, they are brilliant together. Number 2, Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate. Now, I said that Gabriel and Saliba were one of the most physical pairings in the world. Well, this pairing for me is the most physical pairing in world football. Both Van Dijk and Konate are beasts. Both of them are absolutely huge. They're both very quick. They're both very, very strong. It honestly must be so scary when you're the opponents and you see these two standing at the back. They are very, very key to their side as well. Unlike maybe Rudiger and Alaba, who are fantastic, but the system at Madrid is not revolved around them. While at Liverpool, without these two at the back together, Liverpool can't really play the way they play. They play such a high line with an intense press, because they know if teams get through that press or go long in behind, Van Dijk and Konate will mop it up with ease. They have very, very good chemistry together. And of course, Van Dijk is considered by many one of the best centre-backs, or the best centre-back in world football. So individually, performances ranked very high as well. The only points they drop are because they do get rotated a little bit with Matip when fit, sometimes starting ahead of Konate, who is also a little bit raw, can be a little bit rash and make an error here and there, but still they are absolutely immense together and so crucial to the way Liverpool play, which is one of the main reasons they rank in at number 2. Okay then, number 1, the best centre-back pairing for me in world football is Ruben Dias and John Stones. Now Ruben Dias, I mean, as he's been one of the best defenders in the world since joining Man City, so his place among the best centre-back partnership in the world should surprise no one, and the same with John Stones. The pair thrived together last season and were key components of one of the best defences in the league and Europe. They spent just a few years together but already have a trophy cabinet that most decorated partnerships would be envious of. The club's historic treble likely wouldn't have come if these two weren't holding it up at the back. They tick every box in these metrics I'm using. Importance to their team, ticked. Stones inverting into midfield was literally the tactical tweak that won Man City the treble, and Diaz sweeping up at the back and his leadership again was integral. Chemistry, ticked. They have been together for a few years now and work very well together, complementing each other well, with Diaz a bit more of a no-nonsense centre-back and Stones more of a Rolls-Royce type. Key performances individually and together, tick. I mean, they won a treble together. The only problems with this is, one, this season Diaz has taken a little dip in form, and also Stones have been injured a lot, meaning this partnership doesn't always play together. And also, I'm kind of cheating here, because the way City play is kind of like a back three anyway, but still, it counts. And when they play together, it's a long day for the opposition, because these guys are so good on the ball, so good defensively, so calm and composed. They can be aggressive if you like. They can shut down counter-attacks. They can sit back and just soak up pressure and defensively destroy. They have the physicality as well. There's not really anything this pairing doesn't have. But there we go. That is my best centre-back pairings in the world, just to run through it. So, in at number 10 is Kim Min-jae with Mikado. Number 9, Pau Torres and Ezri Konsa. Number 8, Lisandro Martinez and Raval enjoyed this video,